The new Tesla Model Y Juniper. I've placed an order. I already have an Xpeng G6. I'm going to compare the two cars, but I'm going to compare them here for you already because I've looked at every angle that I can think of. Having owned the G6, I know everything it does well. I know all the advantages it has over the Tesla Model Y, and it does definitely have some pretty significant advantages. I know that the advantages the Tesla Model Y has over the Xpeng G6. So here is a comparison between the two cars. When I get the Model Y, I'll do some more in-depth comparisons as well. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Quick summary. New Tesla Model Y Juniper. It's beginning with a launch model. Now, the launch model is a little bit more expensive here in Australia than what will be the standard model, which I'm going to assume would be here probably 3 or 4 months after the launch model. But the launch model does mean you don't have to pay extra for paint colors. You get the boost mode for free, so you get extra performance at no extra cost. You get some special badging, get a slightly nicer interior. So it does have a few perks, but you got to pay more. Now, the most similar car in terms of model to compare these two is the two cars that cost a very similar price. The Xpeng G6 long range costs in Australia 60,000 Australian dollars, right? That's everything included. You can choose any paint color, $60,000. There are no extras, no add-ons, no extra size wheels. It comes standard with 20-inch wheels, which are the same size wheels as you get on the Tesla Model Y Launch Edition standard range version. The standard range version of the Tesla Model Y Juniper, that comes in at, well, the price is a bit more expensive. It's gone up in price by 7,500. That's Australian dollars. So it's gone up in price by about 4,600 US dollars. That means the new price is 63,400 Australian dollars. Guys, in America, that's around 40,000 US dollars. That's the base model. Now that model comes with a 62.5 kilowatt hour battery. So the battery is, contrary to media reports, it is bigger than the previous battery by 2.5 kilowatt hours. Not a lot, but it is a little bit bigger. That gives you a bit more range, right? It gives you about 11 kilometers more range. Now, it would have a fair bit more range than that. It'd probably have about 40 to 50 kilometers more range if Tesla hadn't put 20-inch wheels on it. The Chinese version does get about 40 to 50 kilometers more range because it doesn't have 20-inch wheels. Those are an option. If you option the bigger wheels, you'll get less range. Unfortunately, the launch version here in Australia is only an 11 kilometer range increase. Now, what else do we know about that model? Well, we know that it has 466 kilometers WLTP range. We know that the rear-wheel drive will do 5.9 seconds, 0 to 62 miles an hour. We know that it has the acceleration boost software upgrade, which is optional in pre-update models. That is standard now in this launch model. We also know it has a light bar that stretches across the front of the vehicle. It has a new camera on the front of the vehicle that has a washer jet, so that's a good idea. That's a problem, guys, with a lot of cars now. The camera's on the front of the car. Sometimes you'll be driving on a freeway and you'll go through like a storm of bugs, and then the cameras sometimes can stop working because there's too many bugs splattered on the cameras. The washer jet that Tesla have installed will help to mitigate that problem. Now down the back, there's also another full width light bar. It's a pretty chunky looking one. Not sure if I like it, but some people do, some people don't. Tesla says it's a world first application of an indirect externally reflected lighting system that projects the rear lamp function onto a custom applique. What? That's a real mouthful. Whoever wrote that from the marketing team needs to be fired. Tesla says the suspension has been significantly changed, retuned for more comfort and better handling. They say the Model Y's ability to absorb bumps on rough roads has been improved by 51%. Now, clearly, as you can see, the vehicle has been redesigned from end to end. It looks very, very different. Some of the redesign is meant to unlock more efficiency and improve range. And although people are disappointed by the range improvement, like I said, it would be significantly better if Tesla hadn't gone and put bigger wheels on it. Now, it also has some other improvements. Tesla says the updated wheel and tire package offers a smoother driving experience and with better grip. Don't know how, but apparently it does. It has redesigned body castings that reduce parts that exist on the pre-existing Tesla Model Y from 70 to 1. So I don't know how they've done this because it already has 2 large giga castings, but there's also an additional 70 parts somewhere in the vehicle, and they've reduced those from 70 to 1 single piece. That should reduce weight and increase rigidity. And it'll make Tesla, mean they'll be able to make these even faster than they already could. Now, Tesla say that it has better high-frequency Wi-Fi. They say calls come in clear, data downloads fast, doors and trunks unlock when you approach. Enhanced connectivity and signal range keeps you and your vehicle in sync. They say that the seats have anti-gravity. I've never heard of this before. There is zero gravity seats in China. Lots of manufacturers have them. They're really cool. But this is what Tesla says. Take any seat, front and rear touchscreens, put all your comfort settings within reach. Ventilated seats, power recline, and soft touch textiles will make you feel like you're floating in space. That sounds like complete baloney to me. Stellar silence. Step inside, close the door, and experience the vast silence offered by specially engineered acoustic glass. Queue up with your favorite songs, blah, blah, blah. They say that the road noise has been massively, massively reduced because of this new acoustic glass. And I think that will make a big difference, as it has in the Tesla Model 3. In the Model 3 Juniper that I drove in California for 2 weeks, the road noise was just very quiet. It was phenomenal. In fact, Tesla say that noise has been reduced by 22%, with wind and impact noise reduced by 20% each as well. No idea how they got those numbers. Media screen in the front, it's pretty much the same. It's just a little bit bigger. It's gone from 15 to 15.4 inches. There is a new touchscreen in the rear. It's 8 inches. And those rear seats have power reclining ability, plus they are ventilated and I believe cooled as well. There's also upgraded longer cushions on the seats and a revised headrest designed for better support and comfort. There's an upgraded version of Tesla's premium audio system in the long-range all-wheel drive, but that doesn't come in the standard model. It does still get the same 16 speakers, I believe, but it's just not quite as good as the long-range stereo system. Now, launch models also get unique badging on the door sills, puddle lights, and the tailgate, plus black suede trim on the dashboard. Colors, you can get Glacier Blue, Pearl White, Stealth Grey, Quicksilver, and Ultra Red. No cost options for the launch model. So the price ends up being a total of $63,400, but that's not actually true because Tesla have an ordering fee and a delivery. There's another fee. There's an ordering fee of $1,400 plus another fee of $400, meaning extra fees on top of that from Tesla are $1,800. So actually the price is around $65,200, meaning it costs about $5,200 more than the Xpeng G6. So that's the first negative for the Model Y, that it's more expensive, $5,000 more than its direct rival, the G6 long range. However, here's the thing. The Xpeng also has some advantages. It has some disadvantages, but has some pretty big advantages. Aside from the fact that it's $5,000 cheaper, it has one feature that the Model Y doesn't have. It can auto park. Now that's without full self-driving or anything else. Teslas can't do that unless you option them, right? You can't. It doesn't have the feature of the G6 where you look on the media screen and the car will identify all the parking spots in the area. You just click on one and the vehicle will park into that spot. Just pretty cool feature. Now you can also do similar features with the app on the G6 app where you can drive the car on the app. But obviously I believe you can do that on Teslas as well. Here's the big kicker. The G6 long range is $5,000 cheaper than the Model Y, and yet it has 104 kilometers more range. That's about nearly 63 miles more range, right? And that, for many people, will be the difference maker. For me personally, an extra 104 kilometers of range is massive. As you guys know, I do long trips all the way down from Newcastle to Melbourne, and then we've gone hiking and camping around Melbourne and in the Alps over there. You know, we're talking thousands and thousands of kilometers in a trip, and there's not a whole lot of fast chargers out that way. So having that extra 104 kilometers of range for me is a big difference. The other big difference between the Model Y standard range and the Tesla is charging speed. Now, as far as we can tell, charging speed for the standard Tesla, the standard range version, that's the Chinese and the German version of the car. You don't have this, guys, in America, you don't have this model anymore. You only have the long range version, which charges faster, but standard charging speed is 170 kilowatt, which is not terrible, but it's nothing close to what the G6 is capable of. The G6, from what I've seen personally on my app, it can get up to 290 kilowatt, but it can hold very, very high charging speeds. So it can charge in about half the time of the Tesla Model Y. If that matters to you, then, that's a big difference, right? Being able to charge 50% faster from 10 to 80% is a huge difference. So the other big difference between the Tesla and the Xpeng, and this is a massive, massive difference for many people, is the G6 has a 10-year warranty. The Tesla has a 4-year warranty. Now, the battery warranty for the Tesla is 8 years, so that's standard, but the G6 has a 10-year battery warranty. So 10-year car warranty and 10-year battery warranty for the G6 means it massively trumps the warranty for Tesla's vehicles. That doesn't mean your Tesla's going to break down. I'm not saying it is, but there's a lot of peace of mind with a 10-year warranty. And that's one of the contributing factors for why I bought the car. The warranty, the additional 104 kilometers of range, or at least when I didn't know about it. So at the time, for me, it was closer to 120 kilometers of range. The much faster charging speed, being able to charge twice as fast. Those things together are a big difference. Now, other differences when I bought the car were the power difference. Yeah, the G6 was quite a bit quicker, 6 seconds 0 to 100, whereas the Model Y was 6.9. But that's changed now. Now they're basically about the same performance. Not really any difference now in that respect. Now, one other advantage that some people might like is this. The G6 has an actual driver's digital screen. A screen right in front of the driver, the dashboard screen, rather than just having that screen in the middle of the dashboard. I do like that feature. For me, it's not a game changer. For a lot of people, it is. For older people, they like to have that screen right in front of them. I don't really mind, but that's one difference between the G6 and the Tesla Model Y. One other difference. All right, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Now, I haven't found when I drove the Tesla Model 3 Highland in the US, and when I actually drove a performance one here in Australia as well, I didn't find I needed Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. I don't think they're a must-have, but a lot of people love those features. The G6 has them, the Model Y doesn't. Rain sensing wipers. The Tesla Model Y technically has rain sensing wipers. They still don't work that well. From all the reports that I've read, from my own personal experience, they're okay, but they're not as good as the proper rain sensing wipers in the G6, which work all the time. 360-degree camera. The Model Y, as far as I know, does not have that yet. The G6 does. And a leather-trimmed and nicer steering wheel. The steering wheel in the G6 is much nicer than the steering wheel in the Model Y or the Model 3. It's a significant difference. And that's, probably a small thing, but you do notice it because you're looking at it all the time. Now, there's no extra charge as well for a white interior. If you order a G6, the white interior is standard. You can get the white, you can get the black, you can choose whichever one. There's no difference in price. Whereas the Model Y, you've got to pay an extra couple of $1,000. I think it's $1,500. So now, all of a sudden, if you want the white interior, the Model Y is actually $6,700 more expensive. And now we're looking at quite a bit of money in terms of the difference between the two cars. Now, what are the differences with the Model Y? How is it a better car? One, it has an 8-inch rear screen for passengers in the back seat. Now, my children don't use that rear screen. They haven't, whenever they're in Teslas, they haven't used the rear screen. They just use their iPads. But, if you want the rear screen in the Model Y, it has it. It has a better sound system. No question about it. The Model Y sound system, the new one and the old one are better than the G6 sound system. The G6 has lots of speakers as well, 16 speakers, but it doesn't sound as good as the Model Y sound system. The Model Y does have a bigger boot. Now, the trade-off is the G6 has more legroom. So if you want adults in the rear seat, the G6 is perfect for that. It's got massive amount of legroom, but it doesn't have quite as big of a boot as the Model Y. So if you're carrying children in the back and then, you've got a bit more luggage, you've got probably about, I would say, 15% more luggage space in the boot of the Model Y versus the Xpeng G6. Next, electric rear seats. And these are a pretty cool feature, being able to recline those rear seats using a button electrically, and also being able to press a button in the back of your Tesla and have those rear seats fold down electrically. That is an advantage. I think that's a cool feature. Autopilot. Tesla has autopilot. Now, Xpeng had their own version of autopilot, but it's not quite as good. That's the truth. It's not quite as good as Tesla's autopilot. Floor mats. Tesla comes standard with floor mats. The G6 does not. Not a big difference. Probably costs you a couple $100, but that's one difference. Full width light bar, as I mentioned before, Tesla has that. I personally don't find that in any way an advantage, but some people might. Interior RGB lights. I don't like interior RGB lights. They don't do anything for me whatsoever. I consider them to be chintzy and more of a thing that I think teenagers would like, but not grown adults. But some people do. Some people love them. So RGB lights, if you like those, the G6 doesn't have those. The Model Y does. Now, the supercharger network is one other advantage. Yes, with the G6, you should be able to have access to Tesla superchargers. And if you don't at this point in time, you will soon. But the supercharger network in many countries is a big advantage for Tesla. The frunk as well. The G6 does not have a frunk. The Tesla Model Y does. I've never used a frunk in a Tesla before, and I think most people don't use them. But that is one thing it has. So as you can see, the G6 has some huge advantages over the Model Y. And the Model Y has some advantages over the G6. Both cars, in my opinion, are two of the best, if not the two best cars they're probably the two best cars in the segment right now, which is the reason I own a G6 and I've just ordered the Model Y. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out for me in the real world. And I'm going to, share that with you guys and see what you think. But I'm really curious to know, guys, what do you think? You've seen the advantages of the Model Y. You've seen the advantages of the Xpeng. Obviously, if price is a factor, the G6 is going to have to win it because it's quite a bit cheaper. 10% price reduction is big. If warranty really matters, then obviously the G6 is going to win it out as well. But some people are more comfortable with the Tesla brand. Tesla is a good car. It's really good. I mean, I've ordered one. I've also ordered a G6. They're both really good brands though. But of course, familiarity with the Tesla brand could be a factor for some people. Would it be for you? Let me know in the comments, guys. Which of these cars, if you were going to buy one of these two, which one would you choose? Let me know and let me know why. Thanks for watching.